Hey everybody, Jerk here, back from our little break. We had that birthday which was fun, and then my writers were used to create copy for a commercial you may see in a few months. I hope that doesn't make their heads too big and think that I'm going to start paying them in mimolette. We don't have that budget. American singles only. But we are back in the offices, and that means pants are optional, because in the Venn diagram of life, the circle representing times I am truly happy, and the circle representing times I am wearing pants, there is no overlap. Anyway, what are we doing here today? Is this a new series? Maybe. It'd be a shame not to reuse all the work the graphics department has put in. What are we calling this? Well, that might be a bit unnecessarily intense. So what makes this series unique? How is it not just more trainables? I don't know. We're still figuring it out. But anyway, this match, we're in the Charles Martel, which is neither here nor there. As what I want to talk about in this episode is not so much the ship, but reading your team and reading the minimap and figuring out when you need to do stuff. So not a minute and a half into this game, I can already infer a few things. One, our Benson is crazy. They know a red Atlanta is near, and they are going to cap in open water. And while it's true that in one more salvo I could blap that Atlanta, there's also a Shores, which is a radar ship, and who knows if there's anything else. In this game, you have to draw a lot of assumptions. I assume everyone is capable until they do something to convince me they're not. So once I get that sneaking suspicion in my mind, rightly or wrongly, and I'm not singling out this player, I start to assume things, like that destroyer is not long for this world, of which I am wrong. But it does dictate my behavior, as do many other things, like the fact that there is only one battleship in this match, and it's on the other side. Now that means I don't really want to spend too much time here. We need to engage quickly and move on through. The Red Atlanta's behavior at the beginning has already got them to threat level pink in my head, so I have no concerns about them whatsoever. They are, for all intents and purposes, already sunk. Now we've got even more information. There is a Minsk on this side, and both of the other destroyers have been spotted on the opposite side of the map. So our destroyer threat here is 0. The fact that that Shores is kiting away and hasn't shot AP at myself or our friendly Atlanta means their threat level is 0. Now I'm not being cocky here. I'm just saying what thousands of battles of experience trigger in my head as far as a warning indicator versus a stoplight turning green. So right now the light has turned green and is telling me to win this side as soon as possible and to go assist our other side. If I can, I'm going to try and sink that Minsk first, not because it is the highest threat, but because I don't trust my teammates to do it, and a single destroyer tends to strike fear in the hearts of players, even if it is a destroyer which is incapable of stealth torping, and whose behavior to this point suggests that they have a death wish. And that Minsk gets yoinked. Fair warning, many ships are going to get yoinked from me this round. My initial plan at this point was to head back to the center of the map, but with this Albemarle, that's changed my plan a little bit. I am afraid I will need to stick around to help our Benson. Now, why hasn't any of those cruisers used their radar? It's hard to say, but that means we still have 3 radar ships over here, and that means I need to protect our destroyer. I seldom find it a good idea to let your teammates get sunk, well, excluding battleships that refuse to push, because you just never know what they're going to do later. And helping my teammate not kill themselves ends up being a very good choice at the end of this match. So I'm going to try and remove the Shores first, and then I'm going to back up and try to assist with the Albemarle. You're going to see right here that I'm going to use my teammate for a strategic beaching. Bonk. To reverse and wheel, go backwards, shoot at the Shores, sorry, and you're going to see it get yoinked here. Which is funny. Like, I, of course, have to spot the Shores, because who else is going to? Another sign that our destroyer was playing things risky. see I switched over to AP to be able to finish them because they're sailing broadside. But it's not going to matter because yoink. Okay, well, anyway, now we know that probably sonar. Probably, because if it were radar, I'm assuming that they would be shooting that destroyer right now, but our destroyer does get spotted there. However, yeah, not the way that you want to play the Albemarle, and I'm sure there are some Albemarle lovers out there who I know that really hurt. At first look, you would assume that our team is winning. We're up on points after all, and we have 3 red ships sunk, only to 2 blues, but those 2 blues were our only destroyers available on B, and as such, things are going to start flipping over there soon. And this is why I have been wanting to head that way for the past 3 minutes. Things are getting dire. Now, the long dead Atlanta is capping C, of which still matters not at all to me, as I can go right through their bow and sink them in a single salvo, but the biggest concern I have is that it doesn't appear that any of my teammates on this side are seeing the game flow right now, or they would have been headed this way a long time ago rather than sitting on this west side in what would have been a long, prolonged fight had someone not been over here to hit 9 Citadel shots. Even now, I would feel far more comfortable if our Atlanta had been about 3 squares to the east by this point. There were no ships for them to concern themselves with on this side, and that's a bitter pill to swallow sometimes. People take out ships because they want to sink boats, but you have got to read the situation and know when your ship's power would be better use elsewhere. You all know you wouldn't try to gun down an Atlanta in your Akatsuki, same as you wouldn't use your Wichita to try and torpedo a Yamato. Your ships are designed for a specific task. Use them for that task, and you will have great success. I'm going to cap this point again, and I'm suggesting to my team that we cap A, and we protect D, because any sane player on the red team would head down there to flip that point to guarantee the win. But there are no sane players on the red team, and my friendly Atlanta and Benson ignore my suggestion, and you know what? Doing so probably wins the game. This whole time I thought I was supporting them, but it turns out they're supporting me. So I've been getting spotted here, and I know this is by a destroyer, and I'm trying to figure out where they are. I'm thinking they're at my 1130 right now, and passing behind that island in front of me. So I'm going to try and use this island to get as close as possible, so I can be certain. Plus I want to change direction a little bit just in case they dropped any torps for me, because my sonar's not yet ready. And there is the Fletcher. Why did they start shooting? I don't know, but that's going to make this much easier. We did learn some valuable information in all of that, like that the Wichita is full health and that the York is one shot. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rush this Fletcher down and turn it into B to hopefully pull off a 1v3. And I think our Atlanta must have used their radar right there, which is going to make this possible. I'm still guessing the other destroyers headed down to D, but seeing these torps approach me and go by from the angle, that tells me they are actually headed north, which reinforces my plan. I'm pretty much full health, so if anyone is going to do this, it's going to be me. And now that Fletcher gets yoinked. See if we can't just get the York on that shot, but actually shoot behind them. Oops. So I still need to get one more shot on that York, but how are we going to deal with this Wichita? Well, you know Wichita players, don't you? Wichita players tend to believe that they're indestructible. And there's another assumption my brain has made at this point. Again, I'm not picking on this player. I'm just telling you my subconscious thought process in this game and how those dictate how I enter a situation. But because that player has been sitting on this cap, rather than going to secure the win, combined with the fact that they are first blasting my bow with AP, though now HE, and pushing towards me, I'm going to make the assumption that I'm a better player than them. Now, yes, there is that battleship, and it probably should have blapped me, but the awareness of the situation is clear. If we are to win, I have to sink all 3 of these ships, so let's just see how that plays out now.
Alerte incendie.
Cuirassé ennemi envoyé par le fond.
You know what? When you get a message from a random player after a game telling you that you pulled off a nice one, that's usually an indicator that you did. So 3,469 XP and a very good game to go along with it. Anyway, I hope you guys like this one. Just something a little bit more relaxed as we get back into it. Like or dislike, comments or questions, you know what to do. Subscribe if you want to see more. And what do we say here? All right, I'll get back out there for another one, and we'll talk soon.